All right, so we hear about flights being delayed, but what about when they're early? Sound great, right? Well, not for one couple who missed their flight after Spirit Airlines closed the doors early. That's when the arguing ensued. The couple claims they had waited 2 hours in the gate area but had no idea the flight had boarded early, saying they didn't hear any announcements. Now, the airlines claimed they made those announcements. When they arrived at their actual gate, 15 minutes early, the agent would not open the closed doors, simply saying sometimes we leave 20 minutes early. Now, to make matters even worse, the plane hadn't even left when all of this happened. They had just shut the doors, and due to all the arguing, the plane departed 1 minute late. Oh my goodness, even saying it is making me frustrated. So joining us now, Kanji Anthony. She's the founder of Youdle, a search engine for consumers, and Ryan Burrow with WGN Radio. Kanji, so great to have you both. I'd like to start with you. Who do you believe is in the right here?
Oh my goodness, you have to blame everybody else but you, right? No, Spirited a little bit too spirited in this case. It's so frustrating. Just imagine you're standing there watching your flight leave. So that on top of everything was just the worst. However, when you look at FAA regulations, they only require 10 minutes of letting passengers know. So that is their requirement. They have to let you know 10 minutes in advance. But why not put a little bit more humanity in airline travel again? Maybe somebody could have asked, is anybody trying to get this flight? It's early. So not just the intercoms, maybe a verbal, hey, we're leaving early.
It certainly seems like some sort of communication breakdown. So, Ryan, a new poll shows passengers are not very happy with the airlines as it is, and then they see something like this happen. Do you think airlines are the problem? And if not, who's at fault?
Well, airlines are a big part of the problem, right? They're stuffing more people onto these flights. They're trying to get as much money out of them as possible, and they're moving a lot faster than they used to. So for people who maybe aren't used to flying, people who are struggling to comprehend all the steps they need to take, this is a struggle for them. And so, yeah, I think to some extent, the airline is at fault. And one of the things that we saw in this case, and probably some of the other discussions down the line when it comes to frustration, is communication. How is it that I can find out what is going on with my flight, where I need to be? Do I have enough time to run to the bathroom? Do I have enough time to grab that Starbucks? Am I going to just be sitting here? Where can I find electricity? It seems as though there would be an easy communication way using cell phones to just text the gate. Hey, how far away are we? Am I going to make this connecting flight? Do I have enough time for this? Or even the gate reaching out and saying, hey, where are you? Because that they can cross-check who is checked into this flight and who is actually boarded the flight.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I mean, we have so much technology at our fingertips. It seems almost impossible that something like this would happen. So speaking of flights, how long would you give yourself to make a connection? Is 37 minutes enough time to go from one flight to the next? Well, some airlines are offering connections as short as 25 minutes. And a new article from the Wall Street Journal points out there are no regulations of industry standards to stop it. So, Kanji, aren't connecting flights a stressor in and of themselves? And what do you think? 25 minutes? Is that enough? I guess it sort of depends on how big the airport is and how far it is you've got to get to in that amount of time.
Kelly, you said it, okay? I once, real talk, saw Sierra, the R&B singer, running through an airport, like looking like a model. But, I realized maybe it happens to celebs too. I just believe that 45 minutes is probably the best buffer in this case. And the layout of the airport, LAX, you're not going to make it, But if you're in Memphis, Tennessee, where I am, you will. So it really depends on the layout. And I think that we're smart enough with technology to imagine how far a distance one needs to go to their next flight, the farthest distance, in order to plan these flights out. So the airlines should really look into that more.
Well, if it can happen to Sierra, it can happen to all of us. And I'm sure she did look fabulous running to her gate, better than I've looked running to mine. So, Ryan, there are, as you know, when you've been on a flight and they say, hey, let's let these passengers who have connecting flights off of the plane first. What do you think? Should there be more stipulations like that in place? If you've got really tight layovers, do they even help in cases like these?
Yeah, I mean, once again, maybe this is just a communication thing. Flight just landed. They've got a rundown of everyone who needs to be on that flight and where they should be, especially with connecting flights. I mean, it seems like it shouldn't be that much of a challenge. That being said, 20-year-old bouncing off a flight versus a person maybe in a wheelchair could be a little different. It takes time to move people around. It takes time based on where you're at on the flight. Personally, I've got a flight to Germany coming up this fall, and I've got a connection at Heathrow. I think it's about 90 minutes, and I'm terrified because I'm in the back of the plane. I know when I arrive in England, and I hope I can get where I need to go in time.
You're going to be great. I think it's going to be a great trip.
So.
We're going to speak that success over you, Ryan. Ryan Burrow, Kanji Anthony, thank you both for being here. Really appreciate it.